Hello viewers, Super GT here. We're going to jump into some daily race action slash carnage in the Radical SR3. This week's daily race A. Single-seater race car. In fact, no, it's not single-seater. It's got two seats there. Quite clearly got a passenger seat. Around Laguna Seca. Promises to have a fair amount of carnage. And we all love a bit of carnage, don't we? Now, the first thing I noticed about this car when giving it a quick test before my first race was it is a little bit loose on the handling, mainly given it has sports hard tyres and not racing tyres, and also that I'm not very good at obeying track limits. But let's move into the first race, shall we? Starting 11th on the grid, courtesy of not setting a qualifying lap time. Now you're going to watch the Spaniard just in front here, as he's not really sure which way he wants to go, left and then right. My personal recommendation to him would have been forwards, given that it was a straight. But there you go. Down into the first corner. We call it the first corner, it's actually the second corner officially. And we make a slight bit of contact with the Finnish driver there. And obviously that is such a deadly assault because we get given a 2-second penalty. The stewards not messing about, are they? They're not like here to be nice. They're here to really lay down the law. And if you so much as breathe on another car, that's it. You're in jail. So we find ourselves down here in 12th position, which is, well, I mean, I started 11th, so I've only lost one. You know, it could be worse, couldn't it? Well, really, it actually couldn't be worse. I'm in last. It can't get worse than last, can it? But that's going to change very quickly here, as a couple of cars get a poor run off of the turn before. We're going to go around the outside into the corkscrew and get ourselves up into 9th. All well and good, but we've got to serve this penalty here at the beginning of the main straight, and that is going to kill our momentum and put us back in 11th position. So we've got a lot of work to do here, but as you can see in front, the pack is fairly close, and this is what I love about Daily Race A sometimes, which is because it's usually a grid start, the grid is quite close, quite compact, and normally you have quite a good race. And that does also lend itself to there being lots of crashes, but sometimes, you know, the formula is just right so that you can actually have a good race. I think this one's quite a good little combination here. The Radical SR3 round Laguna. I think this is the kind of combo we'd like to see more of, I think. Single making a little race car like this actually works pretty well. Now coming down the corkscrew, P10 at the moment. Look at this almighty gaggle in front as the Spaniard makes contact there briefly with the light blue coloured car just in front and loses momentum through the second to last corner into the final one now, and this is where things really do kick off. Watch the purple car just in front. Now he would rather just turn left on a straight, so I don't know what it is with these guys wanting to turn left and right on a straight, but it's happening quite a lot. But on this occasion it actually helped, as we go from 9th to 6th and now possibly into 5th as we just open up the gap. But I opened up too much, such that another car was able to come up my inside and almost claim the position. Into turn 3, a little bit deep, and the Finnish driver is about to perform the old switcheroo. And there it is, completed, and there's not much I could do about it. So sat here in my favourite position, P6. I'm in 6th, and we have a lap and 3/4 left to go to try to do something about this situation. As we head up the hill, got a bit of a gap developing to the cars behind. So you see plenty of fighting in the pack. If you can just pull away, that's all good. And we are doing that right now. 1 second ahead, Finnish driver in the dirt as we head through the penultimate turn. And he's almost in the dirt again. As we head into the final corner, he's on the inside. Can we perform a return, a revenge old switcheroo? not quite, as we're going to have to tuck back into the slipstream. Heading towards the first corner. I'm going to go for a late move up the inside. It might have been an overshoot. He's going to appear on our left hand side once again. There he is. Bit of contact between the two of us. But into turn 3, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. Just park it on the apex. Nothing he can do about it. And we quite nicely claim our 5th position, grazing the sausage there on the inside, which isn't to be recommended at all. But at the end of the lap, finishing in 5th in our first race, not bad. We started 11th, so it wasn't a 6th, but it was 6 positions gained, which is almost the same thing. So we're going to jump into race 2 now. We're going to quickly skim through this one, because this one really highlights an important point. I got kind of shafted there into that turn, but we do manage to stage something of a little fight back here. Once again, starting at the back, just to really test the waters with this daily race, eh? And there's a bit of carnage here kicking off. Cars all over the gravel, one spinning off there, turning into a ghost, and the faithful departed dropping down to the back of the pack as we go up into 7th, capitalising on the carnage and the chaos. Going to go for another move here at the end of the first lap, moving ourselves up into 5th at the beginning of lap 2. That's not a bad return there. But I would like you to see, I'd like to welcome you to Exhibit A, which is the massive sausage curbs here at Laguna Seca. These are certainly things to not be messed with. And case in point, I slammed my left front wheel over aforementioned massive sausage and take myself out for a nice little spin. So that dropped me down into 12th position. What I'd say is, just don't touch those things. They're just not to be messed with. Don't touch them. Don't do it, kids. Stay away from the sausages, okay? And this is an unfortunate little sequence of events here, as a couple of cars go wide, another one goes wide, and we go narrow into this one. I say unfortunate, it's actually very fortunate. We move up 3 positions in kind of one corner, really. How about this 8th position? Polish driver a little bit wide there in the Batmobile. Batman there, Robert Pattinson, the new Batman, getting to grips with the game and losing a position there. Car spins out here. Okay, so we're going to gain a position for free, and all of a sudden I find myself in a fight for 6th. Would you believe it, everyone? Would you believe that? Dropping down the hill. Now, yeah, what might have happened there is I cut the corner and got myself a half-second penalty, which means I'm not really going to beat this guy, but I'm still just going to dive bomb him into the final corner. Why the hell not? He's going to get back past with an old switcheroo. I've been old switcherooed twice now in this video. This is not good news at all. I really need to sort it out, sort my game out right now, because this is not good enough. So what I'm going to do is try to set a qualifying time and move up the order on the grid. A 36.5 first out, and then a 36.0 second lap. And what I want to do is watch the top global leaderboard time. The thing I noticed is that I was going up gears very early, coming out of the corners and taking the sausage. Oh my goodness, look at that risky sausage taking line. And case in point here, the final corner, going up into 3rd gear before he gets to the apex. So normally that felt like a 2nd gear corner. Now what I would say is that these lap times I think were set before the update 1.13 on Monday morning. So the physics are slightly different than what some of these the fastest lap times can actually do. So if you're trying to get full inspiration from those top leaderboard times, it might not be actually achievable on the current physics, because the current physics are slightly different now. So for those that don't know, there was an update 1.13. The physics are slightly different now, a bit more stable, a bit more understeery, but a bit more stable, especially for rear-wheel drive cars. But what we are watching here is my Fastest lap in qualifying. The Ghost is the 35.5, I believe. And you can see they get a slightly better launch. This is the corner where I gain quite a lot on the Ghost. Just really being brave. I don't go for the sausage taking line, but get close to it. And you can see they're getting good momentum on the way out of the corner. Into the corkscrew brake, braking just before the 3 board. And then I don't really take as much on the left as I could have done. Shifting up into 3rd early as you drop down the corkscrew. Long left here. Late apex, get on the power early, power out of that turn. I think exit speed is very important in this car because it is actually not the fastest car. It really doesn't accelerate like that quickly. So you do have to make sure you get a good line out of the turn. And we are going to beat the Ghost here. It's going to be by a couple of tenths. So as you cross the line, it's going to be a 35.2, which is about just under a second away from the top time in the world. So not too bad. I think I'll go slightly quicker. But this is going to put us in 2nd place on the grid for this race. And immediately with the assistance of traction control off the line, we're going to jump up the inside into turn 1 and then consequently turn 2. Covering the inside here into the first corner. Don't overshoot the brakes. Keep it nice and narrow. And no one's really going to be able to go around you outside there. Fortunately for me, my main opponent, the Frenchman who started on pole, kind of gets swallowed up by the pack and immediately drops down into 5th position, as you can see on the top or on the left, the order on the left hand side. By this point here, this is a good example of concentrating to the very end. Frenchman's recovered to 3rd by this point, but I am losing time. I'm hemorrhaging this gap I had to the German behind. It was about 2.5 seconds. I was comfortable. Then 2 very silly errors. 1, hitting the sausage. 2, cutting the corkscrew and getting myself a half-second penalty. So this is a very good case study in how to completely throw away a almost guaranteed victory. So we're going to go again and try to do it properly this time without being such an idiot. And a bit of deja vu here really, so a bit of a glitch in the matrix as I get the launch and move up the inside of my opponent. But this time it's going to be a little bit different as he doesn't really get swallowed up by the pack. He tries it around the outside, but actually that's a good strategy just to get himself away from the pack. So he slots into 2nd, and that isn't as good news for me. As you see, he's very quick, right on my tail, and given that he qualified on pole position, we know he's fast, so we have to take his threat rather seriously as he goes up the inside here into turn number something, which I don't actually know. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn 5? I think it's turn 5, if I can count properly. And get the overtake back on him. So it looked like I didn't get the gear shift correct, and then he didn't get the gear shift correct. So we kind of traded positions there momentarily. So we're going to sit here in the lead of the race. And this one's going to be very different because this one, unlike the previous race, I'm actually going to have pressure throughout. So as you can see on the bottom right of the screen on the radar, he's going to sit very close behind and try to administer as much pressure as possible. Into the final corner, just taking the racing line, he's not really close enough to go for a move unless it was dive bomb of the millennium, but it wasn't because he sits behind. So end of lap 1 in P1, halfway through lap 2 still in P1, but you can see he's very close behind. Don't overshoot your braking point, and we get through there just fine. Don't get a penalty. That's probably my worst nemesis. In fact, top two here, you can see we're both very, very close indeed. My main nemesis being, well, I say if there's 3 nemesis I have right here, right now, would be number 1, getting a corkscrew penalty. Number 2, hitting a sausage. Number 3, this Frenchman who will not leave me alone as we head through lap number 3 into the final braking point. Braking on point number 3 on the 3 board and coming out in gear 3. All the 3s, but at the moment P1 as we begin lap 4. Right, At this point here, he gets a good launch off that turn. I think he was shifting up into 4th gear, whereas I was keeping it in 3rd on the preceding corner. And as you can see on the radar, and as we take a quick look behind, he's very close indeed. And the pressure is heightening as we take that corner rather nicely, if I may say so myself. Up the hill, one last time. Very close again, but is it close enough to go for a move? I say no, because I take the racing line. Don't get a penalty there. Still very close indeed. And as we come through, down the hill, into the penultimate turn, this is where it all goes wrong for him. This is where his race unravels. Take a look at the radar, and he suddenly spears left after hitting the sausage, and takes a trip into the sand, and we're going to finally claim a victory. He's done it! So after however many races, we get the job done, claiming fastest lap, clean race and a win. We get a transfer to Ferrari. The boys at Maranello were very, very pleased with that performance, and they signed me up for another race here, starting in 3rd position this time around. Just going to try to go around the outside, really, actually in more defence than offence, and then just keeping the position here quite nicely. And this one's going to be slightly different in the sense that I have 2 people in front. Obviously that's different than having 1 person in front. For those of you who understand numbers, 1 is different than 2. And therefore one person is different than 2 people. So a bit more work to do here to try to win this one, because I have to overtake double the amount of people. Now, as we end lap number 1, the Frenchman and the Italian side by side. It is beautiful to see. I'm going to try to pick my way through, but quite sensibly. This was a good piece of driving here by the Frenchman. He knows he's not going to win around the outside, so he just tucks back in and performs a beautiful switcheroo. Really quite graceful and amazing. The Italian had no answer apart from this to send it back up the inside. He gets no momentum on the exit. I'm up the inside here to the next turn. I think he turns in a little bit early, perhaps not aware that I was up the inside, and he's going to drop back. I'm going to go to the inside, but the Frenchman's just got the speed here. And I must say I do like his Toyota GT1 livery. Very, very nice indeed. He actually takes that corner quite poorly, so the livery not really helping him there through that turn. So we're going to claim the lead. So not bad. And then we kind of have a bit of deja vu with the last race. So it's me versus the Frenchman once again. So a familiar foe, but can we try to win 2 in a row? That's the question right now. Crossing the line, end of lap number 2. It's a 37.6, not very quick at all. It's like a second and a half off the pace. Well, that's really because we are fighting very ferociously for this race win. Into turn 1, I went semi-defensive there, just to edge him towards the outside and make sure he doesn't go up the inside. And now it's really a case of just hit your markers and not the sausages. As we head under the Cooper Tyres bridge, turning right through turn number 3. Or is it turn number 4? Turn number 4. Maybe this is officially turn 5, this little kink there. As you see, he's getting very close to, again. I go to the inside to cover it, and he's not really able to make a move around the outside there. Now up the hill, again, don't hit the sausage, very easy to do. We've avoided it, carry nice momentum. We actually took that quicker than what he did up the hill. Trying to break the toe is not really going to work. Into the corkscrew, and we've definitely overshot it. I'm just going to have to get on the anchors massively there just to avoid getting a penalty. I think it was the best option. We are going to have to concede the position, but I think that was the best option given that I was braking way too late into the turn. Probably courtesy really of taking the corner before it too well, and I just sort of misjudged how fast I was going in. Through the final turn, is he going to go defensive here? No, he isn't. I've got a slightly better run. He didn't defend it. I'm just going to retake the position here. 37.6. Again, another slow-ish lap, but one with a lot of fighting throughout. Down into turn 1, turn 2 officially, and we are Single file once again into the lead. A little bit later in the lap, very close to the sausage, not quite hitting it though. We really are getting our senses for those sausages on high alert. So into the corkscrew, let's not overshoot it this time around. We've taken it pretty well. I'll judge that a 9 out of 10. Not going to give it 10 because you could always do it a bit better, can't you? But it was pretty darn good. And then all of a sudden, I think he hit the sausage again, and he has fallen victim to the rustlers' sausages. Do rustlers make sausages? I don't know. But if they did, then they're obviously the ones around Laguna Seca. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But what I do know is that I won this race, as you can see there. First position. 2 in a row. Not bad indeed. Especially given that we had to fight through and then fight the Frenchman for the win. So let me introduce you to our good friend Scott Jegg. We're going to jump over to the United States, see what we can do with, well, quite frankly, the GOAT. Anyone who denies that Scott Jegg is the GOAT is quite frankly deluded, really, aren't they? Into turn 2, up behind Demon Lord Omega, and we've already gained 5 positions. 4 positions make that. How about this position here? Not quite. We're going to go into the back of Demon Lord. Hopefully that doesn't upset him too much, because that is quite an ominous name, and I really hope that he doesn't come after me. Now, sat here in 6th, Demon Lord getting quite a poor run on the exit there, and we're going to quite effortlessly make the move up the inside and claim 5th position, take it off his hands. End of the lap, this guy serves a penalty. We say goodbye to them. Moving up into 4th, up behind Salty, who goes a little bit wide there, gets a very poor run off the turn. So we're going to go up the inside and claim 3rd. We're on the podium. Not a bad return. At the end of the lap here, Nuka King taking a nice little drifting lesson through the penultimate turn. Up the inside we go into the final corner. A bit of an overshoot, but the job is done. Now, by the end of lap number 3, or at least coming up to the corkscrew on lap number 3, we're challenging for the lead now. This guy goes a little bit wide. Surely that's a penalty. It has to be a penalty. It doesn't really matter to me because I'm up into the lead anyway. And Scott Jegg really laying down a marker there and cementing his legacy as the greatest racing driver of all time. But that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Get yourself subscribed if you're new to the channel. Do hit the like button as well if you enjoyed this one. And I shall see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.